So hello everyone, in this video I'll be telling you how you can create components in React.js. And in this video we'll be understanding how this code is now actually smaller. So basically I have removed all the other files which were not necessary and their imports in the app.js and index.js file. So in the index.js file the report web vitals were imported, so I actually removed that, and only the two JavaScript files are there. One is app.js and the other one is index.js. The app.js is a component which is being imported inside the index.js. So all the components are basically the UI units which is there. For example, for reusing the same code or same HTML code, we use components, and a component actually returns a JSX or a JavaScript HTML, which is similar to HTML, but it is kind of different. We'll be understanding the difference. But the component is basically used for reusing the same code. If you want to create a navbar in multiple pages, so you can create a component of a navbar, then you can reuse them in different pages. It's just like that. And we import all the components or all the pages inside the app.js, and then the app.js file is the main file which is imported inside the index.js. We actually don't import any other code like the other component in here. Only this app component is imported in the index.js. All the other components, if you want to use them, so you will be using inside the app component. So app is the main component which will be responsible for showing our application, and then this index.js will import that app component, and then it will inject that inside this index.html. So actually all the code which you will be importing in app, that will be imported inside index, and then the code will be injected inside the HTML file. So basically this is the behavior. So first let's understand how you can create components. So basically let me just remove this. So basically component is nothing but a function that returns. Also there are class based components, you can understand them, just like they are also a way of creating component. But in modern days, like, we use functional components because they can also do the same thing which class based component can do. So you can understand them in the documentation in detail if you want to learn them. So basically we create a function, a JavaScript function normally. So it can be an anonymous function, it can be an arrow function that you can create here. I can write the function name app or anything. So basically I will be writing app, and then we have to export this, because without the export we cannot import this app component. So then in the function we actually return JSX. So JSX should be like HTML. So it is JSX. So it is kind of similar to HTML, but we'll understand what is the basic difference, actually both of them. So some of the like class names or attribute naming is changed, and some of the other things are also changed. So we do that. So in here I can write hello world. So that will actually be returned from this app component, and I can also import CSS file. Well, there is nothing inside that file. So for importing, you just write import and then the CSS file name. I can write that. So this is the thing which is returned from this app component, and then that will be actually presented to the user by this index.js file. So whatever in app.js will be there, so that will be actually imported in index.js, and that will be visible to the user because the index.js code is actually implemented inside the index.html file. You can see that it is there, and fast reloading is also there. Now I can also create multiple components, or I can also, like, if I want to return one more JSX, so how can I do that? For that I have to wrap them inside one parent component, because we cannot return more than one element, one JSX code. So if I want to return one more heading, so you can see that it is giving me error that JSX expressions must have one parent element. So I have to wrap them inside another container or a div, or you can simply wrap them inside a wrapper or this fragment. This fragment is kind of like a div, but it takes less space than a div. So whenever you want to return more than one JSX line of code, then you will be using this wrapper or this fragment, you can say. Let me just save this file. So now I can see the two headings. You can see that. So similarly, we can also import other components. For example, if I want to create a navbar component, so I can use navbar.js. Remember here, you can write .js or JSX, anything you write. So I'll be creating .jsx. So navbar.jsx. In here, I've actually installed one extension. So that is React and ESX in this one. You can install this extension so to get the shortcut keys for creating components. So the component shortcut key I'm using is RFCE. RFCE stands for React Functional Component Export, and then that will be exported. So you can see that we don't have to write the same thing again and again. You can do manually if you want. For example, function. So you don't need to actually import React because let me just make you understand that. So I can write navbar again manually, and then I can return some JSX inside that. I can write navbar here. I can return any JSX code which I want. It can be any form, any navbar or anything. But I'm just writing this for now. Export default and then navbar. So in the React latest version, we don't need to import React from React. So that is actually taken care by, but in the earlier version, we need to do that. That's why let's do this. And also now I can make use of this navbar.jsx component in here. I'll be using it as a normal tag, as a normal self-closing tag. So I can write navbar here. You can see that my IDE is also suggesting me this. So you can click on here. You can see that it is automatically imported from the navbar file. There is no .jsx or .js because it is automatically taken care of. You can write any name because it is a default name of like default export. But we should always start with a capital letter wherever we are creating a component. So after that, I can write navbar. Actually, the navbar should be above all of that. Let me just save this file. And now you'll be able to see whatever the content inside the navbar is there. So if you go to the main file, you can see that navbar is actually rendered. So this is how we actually create components and we render that inside the app.js. Similarly, we can create multiple pages and multiple components, and then we can show them inside app. So this is it for this video. I will show you what we are actually building inside the next video. So let's meet in the another one. Thank you for watching.